What's up YouTube, Saf here on Super Saf TV, and in this video we're going to be comparing the key differences between the iPhone 6s versus the Sony Xperia Z5 as well as the Z5 Compact. So we are doing a bit of a three-way comparison here because the Z5 and the Z5 Compact have a lot of similarities, but there are a few key differences and some differences which may make one more suitable for you compared to the other. So let's get straight into it. Initially looking at the displays, you've got 4.7 inches on the iPhone 6s. On the Z5, you've got 5.2 inches. So if that is a little bit larger for you, then Sony are offering a compact version which is 4.6 inches. So quite a similar size to the iPhone 6s if you are looking for a smaller size display. Now the iPhone 6s does have 3D touch, so this is basically a pressure sensitive display which is gonna give you some more features that we'll be talking about a little bit later. Now in terms of resolution, you've got 1344 by 750 on the iPhone 6s, and that works out to roughly about 326 ppi pixel density. On the Xperia Z5, you've got full 1080p resolution, so that's 1920 by 1080, roughly about 428 ppi pixel density. On the Z5 Compact comes in at 720p, so 1280 by 720, around about 323 ppi pixel density. So in terms of the pixels, the winner here is the Z5. So if you want to go for your HD movies and things like that, then the Z5 is going to be better for that, but it is at the expense of a larger screen size. In terms of the Z5 Compact and the iPhone 6s, very similar PPI, not much of a difference whatsoever. So it looks like Sony are aiming for that iPhone market. Now moving on to the size differences, the Z5 actually comes in quite a bit larger compared to the iPhone 6s. 7.7mm in terms of the height, 4.9mm in terms of the width, and it's also 0.2mm thicker. So bigger all around here, and it's definitely not going to be easy to use in one hand compared to the iPhone 6s. Now the story is slightly different here on the Z5 Compact, and it actually comes in quite a bit smaller compared to the iPhone 6s in terms of the height and the width. 11.3mm in terms of the height, 2.1mm in terms of the width, and it is 1.8mm thicker however. So it is quite a thick device, and that's to accommodate a larger battery, which we'll be talking about a little bit later. So if you do want to go for something a bit more compact on the Android side, then the Z5 Compact is looking like a good option. In terms of weight, the Z5 comes in 11 grams more than the iPhone 6s, so not too much there. The Z5 Compact comes in 5 grams lighter compared to the iPhone 6s. Now in terms of the builds, the iPhone 6s, you've got the aluminium unibody, so aluminum, whatever you want to call it, so a metal build, and this looks very similar to last year's model, although this time around you've got 7000 series aluminum, and this is much tougher compared to the iPhone 6, so this is going to be a lot more durable here. Now with the Z5, you've got metal frame with glass panels on the front and the back. Now the back glass panel is frosted, which is a nice touch, so it's not going to be as reflective or that much of a fingerprint magnet as previous versions. And what the key thing here is that both the Z5 and the Z5 Compact are IP68 water and dust resistant, so this is really nice to see. This is not something that you've got on the iPhone 6s. Now the Z5 Compact does not have a metal frame. This is a plastic polycarbonate frame. That's probably to make the device a little bit lighter and a little bit more compact, and also save on the cost a little bit. So that is something to bear in mind, that you're not going to be able to get something as premium here on the Compact compared to the Z5 and the iPhone 6s. Now moving on to the internals, the iPhone 6s comes with Apple's A9 processor, and it's also got the M9 coprocessor built in, so that should be tracking your motion and things like that. But because it's built in, it's going to be a little bit more efficient. In terms of the cores and clock speed, we've not been told that as yet. Now with the Z5 and the Z5 Compact, you've got the Snapdragon 810, so this is an octa-core chip. This is also 64-bit, so that's nice to see. In terms of RAM, you've got 3GB on the Z5. On the Z5 Compact, you've got 2GB. We've not been specified how much RAM we have on the iPhone 6s as yet. Now in terms of general usage, we will have to put these side by side anyway to make sure that we can see day-to-day usage, because many other factors do come into play, such as screen resolution as well as the optimization of the software. Now in terms of the storage options on the Z5 and the Z5 Compact, you only have 32GB, but this is expandable with a micro SD card slot up to 200GB, so this is a great option to have. On the iPhone 6s, you have 16 64 and 128 gig versions. No expandability here. And the base model does come in lower, 16 gigabytes. Personally, for me, that is too low, especially with the amount of video content and the images that we take these days. But Apple want you to kind of go for that 64 gig version, so that's just something to bear in mind. Now, with the Z5 and the Z5 Compact, that is a great option of having the expandable memory. Now, moving on to the cameras, you've got a 12 megapixel camera on the iPhone 6s. On the Z5 and the Z5 Compact, you've got a 23 megapixel camera. Now, pixels are not everything, yes, so we will have to see the results side by side from these. In terms of additional features, neither of these have optical image stabilization. You do have steady shot from Sony, which should definitely help here. You've got hybrid autofocus, so this is one of the fastest autofocus, if not the fastest autofocus you're going to find on any smartphone. 0.03 seconds, so super fast autofocus. And you also have clear zoom technology, so you're going to be able to zoom in 5 times using that resolution, so that's nice to see. With the iPhone 6s, you have live photo, so whenever you take an image, it's actually going to take 1.5 seconds before and after if you enable this option. So later on, you could go ahead and tap down on some of your images, and it's actually going to show you a clip of that moment. So that's quite a nice touch there. In terms of video, all of these film up to 4K, so that's 2160p. Great to see across the board here. Now, in terms of slow motion, you've got 720p at 120 frames a second on the Sony Xperia Z5 and Z5 Compact. On the iPhone 6s, you've got 240 frames a second at 720p, as well as 120 frames a second at 1080p. So this is definitely nice to see. And in terms of slow motion, the iPhone 6s definitely gets the edge. Now, in terms of the front-facing cameras, you've got 5 megapixels here on both. The iPhone 6s still only films at 720p, however, so that is something to bear in mind. With the Z5 and Z5 Compact, you do have a 1080p front-facing camera. Now, Apple have incorporated something called Retina Flash. Now, this is going to illuminate the screen in order to be able to give you some sort of light. Now, this is not a dedicated flash. This is just a screen highlighting, which is going to help in those low light situations. I don't believe there's anything like this right now on the Z5 or Z5 Compact. In terms of the operating systems, you've got Android versus iOS as usual. iOS 9 on the iPhone 6s. So the latest version, you are going to be getting updates directly from Apple here. On the Z5 and Z5 Compact, you've got Android Lollipop 5.1.1 with Sony's UI on top. So this isn't too intrusive, but you're going to have to wait for those to come from Sony. You're not going to be able to get them directly from Google. So it is going to come down to your personal preference, really, which one you think is better. In terms of the additional features, all of these offer a fingerprint scanner. There's one on the home button on the iPhone 6s. On the Z5 and Z5 Compact, it's actually on the side, so they've said this is a bit more of a comfortable position to use it. We are going to have to test this out and see how it actually goes over time. Touch ID has been great and has been working really well over the past few years, and it's actually supposed to be 2 times faster compared to the previous version here on the iPhone 6s, which is nice to see. Now, with the Sony Xperia Z5 and Z5 Compact, you've got front-facing dual speakers, so this is really nice to see. So if you are consuming a lot of media on your device, then that is definitely a nice touch. You've got a single bottom-facing speaker on the iPhone 6s. Sony have also concentrated on the audio even more because you've got high-res audio as well as DNC support. So with your compatible devices, that's going to be a great touch. You've also got PS4 remote play, so if you do have a PlayStation 4, this will also be good for gaming. Now, with the Apple iPhone 6s, you have 3D touch, so this is basically force touch, and this is a pressure sensitive display, which is going to give you lots more options. So for example, if you're looking at your emails, you can tap down to preview an email, and when you push down harder, then that's going to open up that email. Same is going to happen with galleries. They've opened this up for developers, so we are going to be seeing this implemented across loads of apps going forward, and it's definitely a step forward, and I assume that more devices will be incorporating this technology going forward. Now, moving on to the batteries, the Z5 comes with a 2900 mAh battery, Z5 Compact comes with a 2700 mAh battery, and the iPhone 6s comes with a 1715 mAh battery. This is what's being said as yet. We all thought that it's going to be very similar to the iPhone 6, but apparently because of the force touch technology and the 7000 aluminum builds, I think they have run out of a little bit of space but it's supposed to be a lot more efficient compared to the iPhone 6 because of the new processor. Now we are going to have to put these side by side. In my personal experience, Sony devices of the Xperia line have had better battery life compared to the iPhones because it's just so much larger. Now with the Z5 Compact, you've got a 720p screen, so you're not even pushing out that many pixels, but you still got a 2700 milliamp battery. Now this is the reason why the device is a lot thicker, but personally I don't mind a thicker device if it's going to give good battery life. You've also got fast charging here on both the Z5 and the Z5 Compact, so that's again nice to see, and you're going to be able to charge these up quicker compared to your standard iPhone 6s. Now in terms of pricing and availability, the iPhone 6s is going to be released on the 25th of September. You can pre-order it on the 12th of September, and you're going to be looking at your standard launch prices as we had with the iPhone 6, and it is going to be starting at the 16GB base model. Now if we compare this to the Sony Xperia Z5 and Z5 Compact, you're actually going to be starting at a similar price for the Z5, so around about £530 is what the pre-order price is, so slightly less than the iPhone 6s. And with the Z5 Compact, £430, so that will be roughly about $550, so a lot less compared to the iPhone 6s. So if you are looking for something on a budget, then the Z5 Compact is seeming like a great option. In terms of release, you're looking at an early October release for the Z5 and Z5 Compact. So those are the key differences between the iPhone 6s and the Sony Xperia Z5 as well as the Z5 Compact. Which device is the one for you? Hopefully this video gave you a better idea of the key differences and helped you make that decision. Do drop me a comment below and let me know your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then please do hit that thumbs up button for me. It really does help me out. Now, if you do want to see more hands-on coverage from these devices when they're released, then make sure you have subscribed to the channel. I've got plenty more content coming up on here. You can also stay in touch with me over social media. The links will be there somewhere. And you can see my previous related video here in the annotations. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on Super Saf TV. And I'll see you next time.